were talking about your ballet. I know you're listening to it.
Return, mademoiselle! It is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we welcome you here tonight. And now, we invite you to relax. Let us pull up your chair as the dining room bounty presents your dinner. Be our guest. Be our guest. Put our service to the test. Tie your napkin round your neck, shall we, and we'll provide that rest. So be sure of hot hors d'oeuvres, while we only live to serve. Try the great stuff.
It's delicious.
Don't believe me, it's delicious. We can sing, dance. After all this is France, and the dinner here is never second best. Go on and for your man, you take a glance, and then you'll be our guest, be our guest, be our guest.
Ragu, cheese souffle, pie and pudding on fondue.
We'll prepare and serve it filet or culinary cabaret. You're alone here, but the things we all complaining about the flowers entertaining.
We tell jokes,
I do tricks with my fellow candlesticks.
and it's all in perfect taste as you can get. Come on, raise your glass, sip on your own free pass to be our guest.
If you're stressed, it's fine dining we suggest.
Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest.
Be our guest, be our guest. Get your worries off your chest.
Want to sing for your offering? Want to raise we suggest. Try to serve with the best. It's a treat for any diner, don't believe me.
As the China, how could anyone be more impressed? Be our guest.
It's a guest, sakes alive, for how you blessed. Wine been poured and been poured, I have napkins fresh and pressed. With dessert, she'll want tea, but my dear, that's fine with me. While the cups do their soft shoeing, I'll be bubbling, I'll be weak, I'll get warm, piping hot. Heaven's sakes, that's hot. Clean it up, we want the cup to be impressed. We've got a lot to do. It's not 1 month or 2, for you are guest.
She's our guest.
She's our guest.
She's our guest. Be our guest. Be our guest. Be our guest.
Life is so unnerving. For servant who's not serving, who's not told how the soul to wait upon. Those good old days when we were used to. Suddenly, those good old days are gone. 10 years we did not sleep. It's so much more than dusty. Chance to those days we just lay around in the castle. But laughing, fat, and lazy, you walked in, oops a daisy.
Hey!
Be our guest. Be our guest. Our command is your request. It's been years since we've had anybody here. We're obsessed with your meal. We're
Productions. My name is Jean Kuntz, for those of you that have not met me before. And I am unapologetically going to be husking and busking for money tonight. Because it is a fundraiser. Because we, like every other theater in the nation and several small theaters around the world, shut down in the spring of 2020. Live theater is not something that you can stream. They tried. There were theaters all over the world that tried to stream plays. It will work in a certain fashion, but there's a problem. The feeling that you just had of having all those people come smoking toward you with all those hats in the air, that doesn't translate on film. And theater is a very ephemeral art, meaning it only exists when you are looking at it. Unlike film, which you can freeze, you can play it back on your video, you can binge watch it all you like, but theater doesn't work that way. It's moving and creating itself constantly. As I said last night, if anybody comes and saw the show Friday night, comes back on Sunday, they're gonna see a different show. It will basically be the same, but the performances will not be the same. As the actor shifts and changes things, as different nuances are approached, as different singing is approached, it's like a concert. It's why people pay hundreds of dollars to go see an artist in concert that they could watch, on HBO or something, as though they were sitting in box seats up front, and see it perfectly, with perfect sound and no distortion or anything. And yet we'll all pay that hundreds and hundreds of dollars I would have if I could have gotten anywhere near where the Eagles were playing. Amen. Because I want to see them when they do it. And it's the same thing with live theater. So we, like so many others, had to close down. And we sat down for all of 2020. We tried to get back up at Christmas time with a small production of The Littlest Angel, and we did. And it did okay. And then we came back in the spring and we did a murder mystery, and then we did a small comedy. We were still under social distancing. It seems like that happened ages ago, right? That was just June, right? And then we tried to do Cinderella. We caught a case of COVID, and it shut the show down. Meanwhile, like everybody else, this is not just us, the rent had to be paid, utility bill had to be paid, and the money just went out the door. The Robeson County Arts Council helped out a great deal by funding us, as did the federal mandated money. But, the spigot got turned off. So here we are, in our brand new facility. We started out in 2012 as a small unit composed of 4 people. There was me, an actor, singer, who had done a lot of directing. My good friend Erin Elliott, who's a dancer, singer, actor, choreographer. My other friend Lance Carter, a dancer, singer, actor, choreographer. And Jacob Barton, an actor, singer, and a guy who can hammer a nail. So we decided, in our unmitigated arrogance, I think we should start a theater company. And we did. Against all odds, everybody said, in this climate, blah, 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 501s just can't get started. And we're like, okay, well, we'll try it, because we're that stupid, right? And it worked. We got off the ground. We were all the way downtown in a little tiny place, right on the plaza. And then we moved into RCC for a couple of years. They gave us access to their main stage, and we started building an audience. And the audience built and built, and we were doing good. And we got to 2019, and we did Frozen, and it sold more than anything we'd ever done, and we gasped and all that. We came back in March, and we did The Wiz, and it had the biggest audience we'd ever had, and we said, yes, now we can get a place of our own. So we went looking for a place of our own, and a week later, after we shut down The Wiz, the governor said, that's it. And the doors closed. And now, with all you lovely people who have bought dinner and bought dessert and come to our place, this is our new home. The dream for the 4 of us had always been this. We wanted a studio theater. I came up in opera. I'm used to, 3,000 seat auditoriums and stuff like that, and I've done big stuff. But I didn't like it as much as I like this. I like to be right here, where I can see your face and you can see mine, and that's what I wanted. We wanted an intimate space that in other large cities is known as a studio theater, and that's what we have. A place that's mutable, We have seats that are not fixed, so we just move the seats around to accommodate the audience. We can do dinner theater, we can do dessert theater, we can do whatever we want. We can change the configuration of the stage to allow for whatever type of theater we want to do. And we can be this close to you and you can be that close to us. We wanted to be able to do heavy drama, musicals, cabarets, murder mysteries, comedies, and workshops, because we are a nonprofit. Our mission is threefold. As it started out, as we had worked through an awful lot of young people that grew up and became adults and came back and wanted to work. One, we're going to provide inexpensive, high-quality entertainment for a predominantly very large, very rural community of people in Robeson County. You know, we are not the big county up there with Raleigh and Charlotte. We know our venue, and we are committed to this venue, to the finding of that kind of talent and giving it a place to be showcased. Two, to allow for all the adults that have worked with us across the years and said, well, it was great to do High School Musical and all that stuff in high school, but how about we do cabaret? Or how about we do Chicago? Okay, yeah, because they have the skills. And then the third leg of our mission is to seek out the young talent, train it, and showcase it, and bring it along. We're kind of like the junior high school version of football and all the other sports, where they move it along through 6th grade and 7th grade and get them ready for the high school, and then the high school gets them ready to be seen by the coaches at college, and they move on to Duke and UNC and all those other schools. That's kind of how we think of it. We think of ourselves as a team, and that's how we work. So your donation of buying these tickets across these nights and of going out and telling people about us afterwards, that's what's going to make it possible for us to grow and develop. We are the only local community theater group in the entirety of Robeson County. It is one of the largest counties in the state. We're here, and we're not going anywhere with y'all's help. So we thank you all so much for coming tonight. We hope you'll enjoy this. We're going to be interviewing a few people along the way to talk about why theater and live theater is so important in a community, how it adds to what you're doing in your life and your children's life and all of you. You know, last night I had somebody who said, well, you know, I did a show with you years and years and years ago. Do you remember I was so-and-so when you did the Crucible the first time? And because that was like 25 years ago. And I said, well, are you still doing theater? She goes, well, you know, I haven't done it in a while, but she was phenomenal in a very heavy drama. I said, well, you know, it never goes away. If you are thinking that because you put that aside when you got out of high school or you got out of college and you had kids and you got a regular job and did all that stuff, and well, you know, I don't, no. We're right here. The stage is right here. And as one woman in this room knows already, I've already been leaning on her. And I'm not going to give up till she comes and brings her voice to the stage, because that's just how I am. And I'm always looking for that. I love local talent. That is the rock bed of this country, is the amateurs, not the pros. And it adds to your life, and it adds to the life of your community. So this stage is here not only for the younger people, but it is here for all of you to enjoy as an audience member, and to maybe go home and think about, you know, well, maybe I'll give her a call. Please do. My phone number is all over everything, and it's on the Facebook page. I'd be glad to have it. That's great. So you saw Beauty and the Beast. Now we're going to switch gears to an older musical. Kind of an old guard musical that they call it, but still to this day, the most sought after, most done musical in America. Now you might think that would be, I don't know, Sound of Music. Nope, pushes that aside. Pushes aside Grease, believe it or not. And because it has a wonderful book taken from a series of short stories about a group of immigrants that came to this country. And it is embedded in our DNA, I think, as Americans, and that's why it is always done and why it always sells out in every theater that does it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you a scene from Fiddler on the Roof. Lahaya.
I wonder if Yenta found a husband for you.
I'm not anxious for Yenta to find her husband. not unless it's Myrtle the tailor.
I didn't ask you.
Well, you're the oldest. That's big much for you, so they can make one for me. And after her, one for me. So if Yenta brings...
Oh, Yenta.
Well, somebody has to arrange the matches. And people can't decide these things for themselves. She might bring someone wonderful, someone interesting, and well off, and important. Matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find. Catch me a catch. Matchmaker, look through your book and make me a perfect match. Matchmaker, I'll bring the mail. Bring the groom, slender and pale. Bring me a ring, for I'm longing to be near the ball I see. For Papa, make him a scholar. For Mama, make him rich as a king. For me, well, I wouldn't holler if he were as handsome as anything. Matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find, catch me a catch. After night in the dark I'm alone, so find me a match of my own. Papa, since when are you interested in a match? I thought you just had your eye on your books. And you have your eye on the rabbi's son. Well, why not? You only have one rabbi, and he only has one son. Why shouldn't I want the best? Because you're a girl from a poor family. So whatever Yenta brings, you'll take, right? Of course. Right. Hondo! I'm an for you. He's handsome. He's young. All right, he's 62, but he's a nice man, a good match, true? I promise you'll be happy, and if you're not, there's more to life than that. Don't ask me why. Anna, I found him. Won't you be lucky bride? He's handsome. He's tall. That is sight to
can't let them do that.
Yeah, I'm Jake the Bird. And all that.
We have to find a way for them to do both.
Right.
Team huddle, everybody, team huddle.
Hey, yo, shorty, you spoke job.
I'm good with foreign languages, remember? Jack's talking about this, he's announcing at the game.
Right.
It's impossible.
No, it's not.
It has to work, it has to.
Leave it to me. I can do anything with my laptop.
Alright, true that.
Go Wildcats!
Yesterday, we all were on our own road. We didn't really know that each of us brings something to the table to help the others grow. Now's the chance to take a new direction, to see through other eyes. Make a choice to make a new connection, to find a bigger prize. We're all in this together. Once we know that we are, we're all stars, and we see that we're all in this together. And it shows when we stand hand in hand, make our dreams come true. Hey, we're all here and speaking out with one voice. We're gonna rock the house. Hey.
The party's on, now everybody make some noise. Come on and scream and shout.
Hey, we will ride and help us come together and make each other strong.
We're not the same.
We're different in a good way.
Together's where we belong. We're all in this together. Once we reach, we can fly. Go inside, we can make it. We're all in this together. Once we see, there's a chance that we have, and we take it. Together, 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 everyone. Together, together. Come on, let's have some fun. Together, together, each other every time. Together, together. Come on, let's go.
Come on, let's do it.
Together is right.
One of the great things about doing local theater is family. I refer to the people who do multiple shows with us as being part of the PDP family. And it's really true. And one of the best parts about that is when members of a family do theater together. So I'd like to introduce Kim Fox and her daughter, Sarah, who you just saw, right? So, how did you guys end up doing theater together?
So I've always enjoyed being part of theater, so I was super excited when I was able to push Sarah into it, and then she kind of enjoyed it. So of course I got her into Best Christmas Pageant Ever, Cape Fear Regional Theater, and then after she did that for a little bit, I figured if I was going to be there anyway, I might as well audition. And so then we did about 7 years together, I guess, both of us in the Best Christmas Pageant Ever. So that's kind of how we started doing it together.
And then how did that transfer itself to here?
So she had been doing shows with you for a little bit, and so when you guys were doing Chicago, I was just like, hey, if you guys need anybody, then you can call me and I'll come out.
The wrong
And I
thing
did.
to ever say to me was, well, I mean, I have to be here anyway, so if you have something really small, you know, so it was really small for about 1 week. And then we had somebody quit, and she ended up being, was it Kelly?
Go to hell, Kitty.
Go to hell, Kitty. You know, Chicago, it's not that small a part. I mean, it's not all the way through the play, but it's very, very singularly important to the plot line. And, you know, and I initially took her as a mom, right? I get moms and they're with their kids and they truck them back and forth and stuff. And then she said, oh, okay, well, I comes back like 1 day later, had all the dialogue learned, had a full character fleshed out, and I just stood there and went, why haven't you said this before? And that was it. And it went from being the person who drove and took care of Sarah's clothes and all that, to an actress in her own right. She's quite funny. She's very delightful, as you saw with Mrs. Potts. She builds a character very fast, and they have become kind of this blonde duo. So, with that in mind, so what is it like now? Because you're in college. What's it like to still be doing theater with your mom? Because most people, by the time they're in college, they sort of separate from their moms or their dads, and if they're doing theater, the moms and the dads sit in the audience, you know, and catch the opening night or the closing night, and you kind of go about your life from that point. But that hasn't happened. You're still doing shows with her. So what is that like?
It's actually really cool. All the shows that I do with my mom are like a lot less stressful because she's always there for me throughout all the quick changes and all the things that I have to do backstage. And it gives me an excuse to come home a lot of weekends to rehearse here and do shows and stuff. So,
What's it like for you?
So I do enjoy just sitting in the audience and watching, but now I'm not going to come to the opening and the closing. I'm going to be at every show, and then I'm also going to be backstage doing the quick changes. So, so for me, doing it together, it's a little bit more stressful because I worry about myself, but then I'm also worried about the clothes, the quick changes, the hair, the makeup, which any mom, I don't know if you could turn that off really, but I don't really trust anybody but myself to do those things. So it's a little bit more stressful for me when we do it together. But I do like having her around. And she's very honest.
She is, I've heard it. So that's the point, is that it doesn't just have to be. And the great thing about that is that sometimes children, of which she is not one, but I have had people who were very young, and we discovered that their parents, whether it be the father or the mother, had a lot of talent. And what I love is backfield, of the first time the parent has a big role. And here comes the younger one. Oh, I forgot, and I need you to help me with this. And all I see is this person walking down the hall saying, it'll have to wait because I've got my own costume. I told you where your stuff is. I have to take care of my stuff now. And then you see this recognition out of them. Look, this person is not just my mom or my dad. This is an actor or an actress. And they have talents of their own. I happen to think that that's a really good thing for young people to learn. That their parents are singular people as opposed to being just mom and dad. That they actually are artists in their own right. And that sometimes, in some shows, the child sits in the audience and their mom or their dad is on stage. And they have to become the supporter and the booster for that. And it's a delightful thing to see. It just adds to the life of a family, and all that creativity just keeps coming. So thank you all very much. We will see more of them later. We're now going to bring you a very special moment. Several years ago, a team of writers in France picked up a massive French novel that is studied in every high school and every college, and in doing so, created a masterwork that has stood the test of time, almost 30 years now. It reinvented what people thought of as a musical, because it's actually an opera. It is completely composed, the way an opera is. There is not one line of dialogue. It is all sung, every bit of it from start to finish. And yet, the audience bought it as not an opera. And it is gut-wrenching to watch, and it causes people to cry. I went to see it the first time on tour with a good friend of mine who's an actor, and he said, be prepared. And I said, oh, no, you know, I don't do that, because I watch musicals technically. I'm always watching the lights and everything. And he said, oh, yeah. And I was fine through the first act, pretty much. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's really good, really good. Got to the second act, there's a certain moment in the second act, and I'm not even going to reveal that if you've never seen it, because you really should go see it, because it always comes to deep act. And then the moment happened, and he was sitting next to me, and I thought I was hiding it under my glasses. And I turned around, and he was just sitting there like this. And he had been waiting, and he went, told ya. I don't cry at musicals, but by the end of this show, I was sitting, and the tears were just pouring down my face, because it is so emotional, and it is so wonderful, and the music is so grand, and glorious, and there has never been, to this point, anything written for the stage that equals the power and the majesty and the emotional limits of Les Miserables.
There's a grief that can't be spoken. There's a pain goes on and on. Empty chairs and empty tables. Now my friends are dead and gone.
Here they talked of revolution. Here it was they lit the flame. Here they sang about tomorrow, and tomorrow never came. From the table in the corner, they could see a world reborn, and
Bree Goodwin, what organization do you run?
Robeson County Church and Community Center.
I can never get it all the way up. RCCC. And she's also the new president of the Robeson County Arts Council. I have known Bree. We both kind of hate that because I mentioned how young she was at the time, and it reminds me of how long I've been doing it, since she was 9. And she started out as a pretty shy kid on theater. Her mom wanted her to be involved in all this, and then there was film, and then she took a decision to move into business work and to move into sort of community activist. As the head of this organization, they are the people with the trucks that go out when the hurricanes come in and deliver everything from diapers to milk to water and all of that throughout the communities here. Some of you might have seen her across the last hurricane and the last flood. Their trucks were out all through the county delivering everything from food to anything that people might need. And she has stayed with theater. She did a lot of theater over at UNCP when they were going on, and she actually did some acting for us in Purple Door, did Chicago and some things like that. And then she segued into more of this. But she continued that artistic side of herself. She picked up photography as a hobby. Within a year, she became one of the most sought after wedding photographers in the area. To the point that when I talked to her, she's like, I just can't take any more people on. Not until next year. And I'm like, your schedule, is that true? Yeah, oh yeah, already. And then that wasn't enough. See, she had to actually put her life right here. So then she took up painting. And her work is on her site on Facebook. And then what she does is not really graphic work like she did for us, but it's watercolors, and they're delightful things, and she has a whole little shop of it. So I wanted to ask you, as somebody who started as young as you did, sort of pushed into it by your mom, and then moving along, what does theater mean to you now, at this point in your life, when you've chosen to become more of a CFO and a business organized woman who's handling all of that stuff of running a fairly large organization? How does theater fit in your life now?
So I was a very shy child, and I had a hard time finding my voice, and that came with art or really anything. I was the student that would mutter the answer under my breath, and so I was just afraid to raise my hand, so to speak, and that translated in my life too. But when I started theater, my first show was 'Tis the Season in 2002, and so she said I started when I was 9. I'll be 29 next Friday. So 20 years of theater I'm celebrating, and it brought me out of my shell, and it helped me see what I was capable of, and that I could put myself out there. And theater has transcended into all the areas of my life. I know that if I hadn't started theater, then I wouldn't have pursued any of the artistic endeavors, the photography that she mentioned and painting. I wouldn't be the social activist or community activist that I am if I hadn't found my voice through theater. So I thank John for that.
Great stories. Although I had to think about that story that I've known her for how long? 20 years? What does that say about me? I've been doing this for a while. Not that I care, because I love it, and it's what I love to do. So Bree's going to come back and open the second act with a glorious ballad written by Sarah Bareilles for a show that she created for Broadway called Waitress. Woo! Oh yeah, there's a waitress lover now. Oh yeah, and it's some of the greatest. I mean, Bareilles' music is so wonderful, and this is a song that all of the adult women in the room will understand when you hear these lyrics. And I give you Bree Goodwin.
It's not simple to say that most days I don't recognize me, that these shoes and this apron, this place and its patrons have taken more than I gave them. It's not easy to know I'm not
not anything like I used to be, although it's true I was never attention's sweet center. I still remember that girl. She's imperfect, but she tries. She is good, but she lies. She is hard on herself. She is broken and won't ask for help. She is messy, but she's kind. She is lonely most of the time. She's honest, mixed up, and baked in a beautiful pie. She is gone, but she used to be mine. It's not what I asked for. Sometimes life just slips in through a back door and carves out a person and makes you believe it's all true. And now I've got you. You're not what I asked for. If I'm honest, I know I would give it all back for a chance to start over and rewrite an ending or two. For the girl that knew who'll be reckless just enough, who'll get hurt, but who learns how to tough it up when she's bruised and gets used by a man who can love. And then she'll get stuck and be scared of the light that's inside her, growing stronger each day till it finally reminds her to fight just a little and bring back the fire in her eyes. That's been gone, but it used to be mine. She is messy, but she's kind. She is lonely most of the time. She is loveless, mixed up and baked in a beautiful pie. She is gone, but she used to be mine.
So I was over on 39th Street the other day, found this new silent spot. Place in the old mine. Everything over there that's everybody.
They jacked up the price! Did you hear that, Jack? 10 cents a hundred. You know, it's bad enough we gotta eat what we don't sell, but now they've jacked up the price. Can you believe this? This'll bust me. I'm barely making a living right now.
I'll be back sleeping on the streets.
It don't make no sense. All the money Post is making already gouge us. He's a tight wad, that's why.
Calm down, you pipe down. It's just a gag.
They can't do this to me, Jack. They can do whatever they want. It's their stinking paper.
It ain't fair. We got no rights at all.
Come on, it's a rigged deck. They got all the marbles.
Jack, we got no choice. So why don't we get our lousy paper? They still got some, huh?
No. Nobody's going anywhere.
What are we gonna do then?
So we can't get away with this.
Get out of the way! Get out of the way! Jack, you done thinking yet?
All right, listen. We don't sell papes.
Uh-huh.
Nobody sells papes.
Yeah.
Nobody takes papes until they put the price back where it was.
Yeah.
You mean like a strike?
No.
Like a strike?
Are you out of your mind?
Hey, it's a good idea.
Jack, I was only joking.
We can't.
We can't go on strike. We're not a union.
But if we go on strike, then we are a union, yeah?
No. We're just a bunch of angry kids with no money.
Yeah.
Maybe if we got all the newsies in New York, but Jack, you have to stop and think about this. We can't rush everybody into this.
All right, let me think. All right, listen. Baby's right.
Okay.
Bullets aren't hurts to automotive fellas. Hey, let me see.
Yeah.
They don't think a couple of street rats like us can make any difference.
No.
So the choice has got to be yours. Are we gonna take what they give us,
No.
or are we gonna strike?
No.
Maybe we ought to ease up a little bit. I mean, without the other newsies, they ain't enough of us.
Maybe we're moving too soon. Maybe we ain't ready, you know?
I definitely think we should forget about it for a little bit.
Oh yeah, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, without the rest of the boroughs, you know.
It's just a game to you guys?
Now is the time to seize the day. Stare down the odds and seize the day. Minute by minute, that's how you win it. We will find a way. But let us seize the day. Behold the brave battalion that stands side by side, too few in number and too proud to hide. Then say to the others who did not follow through, you're still our brothers and we will fight for you. Now is the time to seize the day. Stare down the odds and seize the day. Once we've begun, if we stand as one, someday become somehow. And the prayer becomes a vow. And the strike starts right damn now. Now's the time to seize the day. Answer the call and don't delay. We'll be riding if we're united. Let us seize the day.
Hey, Mr. Pulitzer, we got some news for you. The newsies of Lower Manhattan are officially on strike. Now let them hear us loud and clear. Like it or not, we're drawing near.
Proud and defiant, we'll slay the giant. Judgment Day is here.
In fact, they didn't all have to until we started rehearsal a month ago. They put that together in 3 weeks. That's how fast they can learn. That's how much they can do. Now, one last thing. So we thought it was really cool that a mother and a daughter, right, were doing theater together. How about if we take that one step further? Teresa. This is Teresa Davis. She's the choral director for Lumberton Senior High School. Started out as a band person, right? So tell us how you got into theater.
Well, in this area, I got into theater. I was actually banner at Ridge Springs High School, and Studio One, which was the predecessor to our current PSRC Center Stage All-County Theater Group, was doing Footloose at GPAC. And I was actually with the pit, the orchestra, conducting the orchestra for that show. And I drug my daughter to every rehearsal. She's now 24 and has graduated from college. Lighting design and production is her thing. And she sat out in the audience for, much like Sarah and Kim, she sat in the audience for every rehearsal. So when she got to be 6th grade, Studio One was doing High School Musical. And so she auditioned for the show, and she was in all the way through, she went to early college, so she was in productions all the way through early college. And at that point in time, we also were getting ready to do Christmas Carol with Studio
Studio
One. At that point, Studio One. And so my grandson, Logan, was our first Tiny Tim for that production. And he had a little sister, Iris, who was in Newsies just now, tap dancing. Iris was one of the orphans. Not a scripted entrance. We didn't know it was going to work this way. She was an orphan in Christmas Carol. And then also a year or so later played Clara in Christmas Carol.
And one of the Cratchit children?
One of the I forgot. Logan played one of the Cratchits too. So anyway, it just kind of evolved from there. So yeah.
And Iris has become a true theater baby, because once she stepped into theater, she never walked out. So now what we have is, we have a grandmother and her granddaughter in theater together. And they've been with us back and forth.
And then we have Millie, who's 6. Bless your heart if you get Millie, but you know, she's a girl.
So what's it like doing theater with your grandma?
It's very fun. I would recommend. It's very fun. We get to vent to each other, and we know a lot. That's very true. We get to vent to each other, and we know what's going on in the show, of course. And don't tell anyone this. This is like my greatest secret. I always have a ride to rehearsal, all the time. Yeah, it's just mostly a lot of fun, and it's a good support system.
So it's one generation to the next, and it never stops. And it's just great when you think about the fact that you have this relationship with your grandmother that normally by the time you guys are in high school, you kind of separate away from your grandparents. You see them at Christmas and Thanksgiving and places like that. But the idea that you could continue to grow up through high school and still be able to be in shows and be connected in a very artistic way with another artist who just happens to also be your grandmother.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. You know,
It's kind of fun.
it's different. It's different, you know. Yeah. So, but yeah, we enjoy it. It's kind of fun. I mean, like Sarah's mom said, Kim said, you know, you stand off stage over here, you know, and you watch, and then it's like, oops, and the next number, gotta go. But yeah, we've it's been fun. It's been fun having all of them. Yeah, you know, grow up in the theater world. So I always ask them, are you sure this is what you want to do with your life? You know, you sure this is what you're gonna do? It's not easy. It's tough, but yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. So great, support them, obviously. So yeah.
Thank you, ladies.
All right, thanks. Thank you.
Now, but you see, we have some young'uns in the show. And they were like, so are the big kids gonna get to do everything? And I said, no, there'll be something for you. And so we're gonna feature them. Because if we're getting an opportunity for it. That's cute. The costumes change every night. So, for this particular piece, we're featuring them. So they have their chance. This is Camden Locklear. This is Carter Britt. And it just so happens that this is his sister, Ansley. Correct? I'm saying it right? I would call her. And this is Naomi Ospina. They're going to do for you a lovely number from a brand new musical based on a children's book that you might have read, or maybe your kids have read. It's called Matilda. It's not your usual fun and games children's story. It's a little dark. It's about some tough things that children go through. And the song deals with what a lot of us would like to be able to do, which is to go back and tell our younger selves, hang on, kid, because this too will pass, and things will get better, and you'll always have these memories. And what if we could go back and tell our younger selves not to worry, not to stress, not to fear? And so, from Matilda, ladies and gentlemen.
When I grow up, I will be tall enough to reach the branches that I need to reach to climb the trees you get to climb when you're grown up. And when I grow up, I will be
That's the limit. Then this present will be past. So here we are, where the world has come together. So she will be in this picture forever.
Look at this. 540 million years ago, the continents of the world crashed together right here. 200 million years ago, they separated, moving apart from each other. But a little piece of them is left right here. As you move, you
theater mean to me? To any person who stands on a stage, who puts themselves out here for judgment and approval and and affirmation in everything that the artist who walks on the stage and just has the courage to put themselves out there and let the audience look at them and let the audience judge them. What does theater mean to me? So, tell me.
A step out of reality.
Excitement. Something I love.
Definitely an escape.
Theater's home.
Finding myself.
Opportunity. A learning experience.
A lesson.
It's a family.
Same as Kim.
It's a support system.
Fun.
Freedom.
Something that lives inside of me.
And for me, it's my life. And that's it. So, we thank you all so much for coming here tonight. We hope that you've enjoyed it, that it was a brief break and a positive one from all the stress and the craziness that seems to be encompassing our lives these days. And when you look at the arts, then you can look at the future. This is the future. This is the soul of any community, is its expression in the artistic world, whether it's visual or performing. My territory is the performing arts, and we salute all of that, as well as we salute all the volunteers that have made it possible for us to put on this show. Now, I know that they're all around, and you've seen some of them, and they're coming and going. Terry? Terry? This is Terry Segler, our front of house, a volunteer job and a thankless one. As you can see, she has to do all the work and all the cleanup. Never gets any applause, so I'd like to. Actually hate me for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Hey guys, step out of the booth for a minute.
Hey!
Yeah. And the other one on that side is Robbie Wilkins, and that's his mom. Once again, from mother to son, as the arts progress. So, we thank you again. If you liked what you saw, go out and tell people. If you liked what you saw, let me know. Put a note up on Facebook and talk to us. We're there every day. And please, the second week in December, you're all going to get a notice from me. We're going to do a wonderful Christmas program called 'Tis the Season for Family. Because finally, we were able to do it a little bit, but even there, sometimes it's a little scary. I think by this year, by Christmas, we're going to all be able to gather our families together. We're going to be able to hug and kiss and do all that stuff without worrying about putting an elbow out and all that other stuff. And to celebrate that, enjoy and all that, I'm going to give you a little bump to go home with. And if you know it, you can sing along with it. Hit it, Cole.
Heartbeat
And we never stop selling. And if you would like to donate, or if you would like to purchase a mug or something like that, we take everything, including cash. Apple Pay, PayPal, we've got a charge system set up. Thank you all so much for coming. It's been a blast.